What's going on, and welcome to Joe's Geek Show, the video series where we talk comics. And if you're new and like to support the channel, you can do so by hitting that like button, clicking that subscribe button, and sharing. And with that, Future State, The Flash, issue number 2, Death Race, part 2. And this book is written by Brandon Vietti, with art by Brandon Peterson and Will Conrad, colors by Micah Tay, and letters by Steve Wands. And this issue kicks off at the Flash Museum inside the Spade Lab some years later after the previous one. The world is now ravaged and torn apart due to the actions of a possessed Wally West, as Barry, now an older man, tinkers with the various devices of the rogues, living in constant reminder of the death of everyone around him, possibly including Iris. After creating a transmission that he attempted to send and we see fail, Barry then suits up and heads to find Wally, hoping that the thinking cap will draw him out. It of course works, and a battle then ensues between the two, with Barry gaining the upper hand and seemingly defeating Wally, only to find out that this was a speed clone Wally had created. Barry, however, presses on to once again overpower Wally when, for a moment, it seems the real Wally is present, asking Barry to get him a magical user to help him. However, Barry quickly realizes that this is still the possessed Wally and freezes him using Captain Cold's gun. But this, however, doesn't hold Wally for very long as he vibrates out, but quickly feels a shock and weakness as Barry explains he modified the weapon to shoot ice that, once inhaled as steam, would re-engineer Wally's DNA, making him powerless by destroying him from the inside. Famine vacates Wally's body, showing his true form, and revealing to Barry that he feeds on hope, and that he's been with Barry all along, feeding on Barry as well. But Barry still rises out of his sadness and says he'll never lose hope, with Famine realizing that Barry is essentially a renewable snack to him, and returns to Wally's body, before using the Speed Force to turn Barry into a speed ghost. Because of this, Barry will now always be around to feed Famine whenever he needs some more hope. The issue ends with the character Side Beast retrieving Barry's flash ring, where Barry had been recording his messages. And all I can say is, thank God it's over, because this story is such a mess. Because one of the things I find frustrating about the Future State books is that the writers generally only have 2 issues to tell stories, and some of these stories are reading like they should be more like 6 to 8 issues. They seem to be pretty big stories with these really wild ideas, and they're just not getting fleshed out. And as such, of course, have to cross some stories with other stories, like here at the end of the Future State Flash, it's going to continue in the Future State Teen Titans. Because I will say, despite my dislike for the constant trashing of one Wally West, my favorite Flash in the whole wide multiverse, this could have been a very interesting story. It just needed a little more breathing room that the book obviously didn't have. And it is pretty jarring to learn very quickly that most of the characters from the first issue are dead, except for maybe Avery, who's the Flash of China, because she was in the first issue and then just didn't come up in this issue at all. I mean, we once again got explanations for Bart Allen, Jay Garrick, they explain away Max Mercury, even the absence of Iris. But Avery just kind of forgotten, it seems. Oversight or lack of care? You decide. Additionally, there's all these little tidbits in the book that go on, and it's rather frustrating because we don't have the information to fill in the gaps. Such as when Barry is suiting up to go on and take on Wally, in one of his little monologue boxes, he says, well, he can't call it the Justice League because they've proven to be untrustworthy. Okay, why? I mean, you have a demon possessing arguably the world's most powerful speedster, and you're not going to call it the Justice League for reasons. It'd be kind of nice to know what they did and why you now think the way you do. Also, are we really supposed to believe that Wally's going around ravaging the world, killing people, and the Justice League said, well, Barry did ask for our help, so f that guy. And the overall statement seems rather contradictory to the overall theme of the story, which is hope. Because as it's explained later in the book, Barry is always hopeful. Barry will always renew his hope. So why does he have no hope in the Justice League? And trust me, we're not done with that whole thing yet either. There's more to come. But let's move on to the actual battle between Barry and possessed Wally. because good God, the formula that was presented here was so frustrating. Fight begins and Barry has the upper hand. Oh, no he doesn't. Oh, then Barry gains the upper hand for real. Oh, no he doesn't. Ah, Barry's finally got the upper hand. He's totally gonna win, and no he doesn't. Fake out after fake out after fake out after fake out. I can only handle so much. You can only tease me with the cookie for so long before I don't want it anymore. And then wrapping it back to the hope thing again, the fight ends, Famine comes out, says, I've been with you all along. I feed on hope. It's what I do. You are such a hopeful character, Barry Allen. I have been feeding off you as you've watched everybody around you die. And then Barry Allen rises to his feet and says, and I will continue to hope non-stop, which was a great way of saying I am a buffet that will keep renewing itself just for you. Because after Barry made that whole speech, that's when Famine decided to turn him into a Speed Force ghost so that he could feed off Barry Allen forever. If Barry would have just kept his mouth shut and just kept on crying, Famine probably would have left them alone, or killed him. Maybe he would have killed him. But instead, Barry gets to live the rest of eternity as a Speed Force ghost. Yeah, that sounded pretty good right here. But to give this book some credit, it does have some interesting things going on, like Barry being able to use the Rogue's gear better than the Rogues. Takes the weapons, reconfigures them, makes them even better than before, and just further showing us how resourceful Barry Allen is under the most stressful situations. Also, the art was a major step up from the previous issue, which looked like it wanted to be sort of like replicating the Silver Age style a little bit, particularly with some of the male characters having exactly the same faces, as well as oftentimes being really busy with things going on the page, you know, just like how much stuff can we throw on the page at once. Whereas this one, I'd say, had better character models, better use of shadows, better use of lighting, and the action was done in, I think, a much more engaging way. And I did like Famine. I think he's a pretty cool character given the book he's in. But overall, the book is just way too damn depressing to enjoy. There's no hope for Wally. Barry's a Speed Force ghost. All the Flashes are dead, except for maybe Avery. I don't know. Again, she just sort of disappeared from the story. And considering the tail end of Joshua Williamson's run and this little future state thing that's going on right now, it's made me rather numb to anticipating future Flash stories. It's a little bit better than the first one, but ultimately I'm still going to give Future State Flash issue number 2 a 4 out of 10. So Future State Flash issue number 2, what did you think about this book if you've read it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And I just hope that when we get back to the regular Flash title starting in March and coming in with issue 768, that we can just put all this behind us. Wally's not going to be under attack anymore, and everything's going to be okay. And just out of curiosity, let's take a look at the solicitation. And if you like this video, I'd love it if you'd smash that like button, share it with some friends, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and ring that notification bell for more comic book content. And if you're wondering what to watch next, consider one of these 2 videos. Alright, take care, have a great day, and as always, stay geeky.